punished those who had murdered Bruno by having them murdered. And out of all of this chaos and confusion, one figure emerged, and that was Nicky Scarfo. Nicky Scarfo probably would have remained a very low-level mob figure if it had not been for casino gambling in Atlantic City, which was literally dropped in his lap. He was, as Angelo Bruno recognized, a violent man. He saw himself in the Al Capone tradition. He saw himself not as a racketeer or as a mobster, but as a gangster. And for him, that meant that violence was the principal weapon that he was to use.
There came a day, December 16th, 1979. All right. I said to Nicky, I said, it's around Christmas time. I said, I'd like to go home today. It's on a Sunday. I said, I'd like to get a tree, blah, 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 with the kids and all. So that's what I did. You know, I did that. But before I left the apartment house, Lawrence says, Nicky, he wants to see you. When he says he, it's always Nicky Scarfo. So he says, what I want you to do today, he says, I want you to hang around with Philip. I want you to hang around with him. But I says, I was going to go do the tree. And he says, well, go do your business, he said. And he says, we're going to give you a call, the house. So I did. I went to Brigantine. Now, before I left, he says, whatever you do, you don't tell anybody. Our conversation stays here. Especially, you don't say anything to Vincent Falcone.
Scarfo was responsible for at least 25 murders that we know of. His principal attitude was paranoia. He trusted no one. And his principal weapon was murder. He killed anyone whom he even suspected of being disloyal to him.
He's arguably the most brutal and violent mob boss of his generation, of any family. It's unbelievable what happened in Philadelphia during the 80s. I mean, the whole city was on fire. And basically you had a guy who, by all accounts, was extremely paranoid and did not trust the people under him.
They called me on the phone. I'm at the house. So I said, Lawrence called Merlino. He says, he wants you here now. I said, well, I'm doing the tree. He says, well, you better come. He's expecting you. So I get in my car. It's only 10 minutes away from Brigantine to Atlantic City. So I get in my car, go over to Atlantic City, go into the office, and who's standing there is Vincent Falcone, Lawrence Merlino, Philip Leonetti, and myself. No Nicky Scarfo. So we get in this car. Lawrence is driving. Philip's in the front seat of the car. All right, sitting shotgun next to Lawrence. I'm in the back of Lawrence, and Vincent Falcone's sitting next to me. So they're talking, Vincent and Philip, and they're talking about all the good times that they had. We passed a couple of nightclubs and stuff that they've been through. Remember that place? And they started, laughing and stuff. I figured, I'm crazy. There's nothing happening here. These guys are best of friends. And we're completely out of my mind. So we pull up this Decatur Street, Margate it is, it's Margate. And this house, it's a duplex on the beach. And in the wintertime, in that part of the area, there isn't anyone around. It's a vacation place. So we proceed and we pull the car in, and we get out of the car, and we all go up the steps, and Nicky's sitting down. As soon as we get up, it's a second floor apartment. Go up the steps, and Nicky's sitting there. He's got half glasses on, got a newspaper in his hand, and there's a football game on. Now he's facing the ocean where he's sitting. Now to his left-hand side, there's like a kitchen in back of him, like that. So he says, let's wait for Phil Disney to get back. He'll be right back. He's going to come along with us to have some drinks. But in the meantime, make some drinks, Vince. Go ahead. So I'm standing up, okay, next to Philip Leonetti. Lawrence is in the kitchen. It's a real small nook type thing. And Vincent Falcone is in the corner of this, in the kitchen. He's making some drinks. Some ice, the refrigerator's there, and put a couple drinks on the table. So I grabbed one, and Lawrence grabbed one. So he turns back around again. And Philip's standing by my side here. Nicky's still facing the window. He can't see Vincent Falcone. He could see Philip and me, though. So I take this drink up to my mouth, And I figured, well, we're going to have a good time today. So Philip Lynette's standing next to me, and we weren't, he reaches inside his coat, and, I wasn't really paying attention. So he puts a step forward, and I see my gun, it happens quick. Back of this guy's head, and pow! Like that. He turns around, and he looks at me, right in my face, real close to my face, like that. And he says, Joe, and he's staring at me. He's got this piece in his hand. And I'm saying, you mother, I'm saying to myself, And he goes, this guy was a no-good motherfucker. And he's standing there looking at me. So I says, fuck him. I says, what do you want from me, Like that. He says, you okay? I says, I'm fine. Like that. So Nicky gets up off the couch for me.